Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What did I just witness? What did I just witness? Okay, so let's address this first off. One, in the first half of this game, early on, Giannis goes down with a back injury. He was driving, Kevin Love stood tall for the charge, and Giannis landed on his back. It was bad, it looked painful, and he was done for the rest of this game. So he suffered a back injury. They're doing tests on him. We do not know how severe that injury is, but that injury could determine the outcome of this series. If it's minor, he may be back in game 2. If it's major, he could miss multiple games. And let me tell you right now, if Giannis misses multiple games in this series, Miami has a legitimate shot to upset the Milwaukee Bucks. They need Giannis. So that is a huge, huge, huge factor in this series. Number 2, just before halftime, Tyler Herro was hustling. It was a broken down play. He was hustling for the basketball. He slid and somehow broke his right hand. So, Tyler Herro is out for at least this series with a broken right hand. One of your main important three-point shooters and scorers in general, gone. There were 3 players on the Miami Heat that averaged 20-plus points this year. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Herro. We are going to lose a lot without Tyler Herro. My suggestion, Spoelstra, you got to bring in Victor Oladipo and give him some minutes. I don't want to look at Duncan Robinson here. It's got to be Victor Oladipo, because Oladipo is the only other person that has the ability to create his own shot, because that's what Tyler Herro can do. Whether it's from the three-point line, from mid-range, getting to the basket, he can create his own shot. Victor Oladipo is the only other person that can do that. And Oladipo plays defense, so you have to look to get him minutes in this series now that Tyler Herro is gone. With that being said, this game was crazy. Miami, last year, were the number 1 three-point shooting team in the NBA. This year, they fell to 27. They have been so inconsistent as a basketball team that it has made many of us look at this team and say they have no shot to do anything. In game 1 against the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, the Miami Heat shot 60% from the three-point line. They shot 60% from the three-point line. They shot nearly 60% from the field in general. This was the best shooting performance from this team for the season. All season they've been inconsistent. Yet tonight, they put up their best shooting performance of the season. Nobody on this roster could miss a 3 tonight. Caleb Martin couldn't buy a 3 all season. He was hitting 3s left and right. Gabe Vincent, inconsistent, couldn't really hit his 3s. Tonight he couldn't miss. You had Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent looking like Stephen Clay. They just couldn't miss from the three-point line. You had a vintage moment from Kevin Love. He hit like 5 threes tonight. He was balling out. He was hitting 3s. He was taking charges. I mean, the man was getting rebounds. He was doing everything. He looked like Minnesota Kevin Love. My God, he was balling out. Jimmy Butler being Jimmy Butler, it's playoff time, so you get playoff Jimmy. 35 points to lead all scorers, doing his thing. Another beautiful, masterful performance by Jimmy Butler. You know what you're getting from Jimmy. But yeah, everybody was just hitting 3s. Gabe was hitting 3s. Caleb was hitting 3s. Kevin Love was hitting 3s. Strus was hitting 3s. Duncan Robinson came in the game. He was hitting a 3. I mean, they couldn't miss from the three-point line today. Tyler Herro had a great first half, and it looked like he was ready to go off in this playoffs. Finally looking like the guy we want him to be. At least he was starting off like that in game 1. He had 12 points in the first half of this game before he broke his hand. So now we just have to move forward without him, at least for this series. And if somehow Miami pulls off the upset, we will be looking to get him back in round 2 at some point in that series. So we'll just have to move forward without him, at least for this series, if we can somehow survive and make it to the second round. And then there was Bam. Bam defensively throughout this game was doing what he needed to do. However, in the first half, Bam was once again disappointing everybody with his terrible, embarrassing offensive performance. It was really frustrating, and everyone once again was getting on Bam. Then he came out of the locker room at halftime, and he stopped hesitating, and he started taking those shots, and he finished the game with 22 points. He nearly had a 22-point triple-double. I mean, the guy was doing his thing. Like, legitimately, he was doing his thing in the second half. That's what we want to see from Bam. But like I said, I'm tired of talking about this. If he does not understand that he has to play like that every game, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, you need Bam to give you 20-plus points every single game. You need that. Bam at this point needs to be a solid 20 and 10 guy. 20 points, 10 rebounds. You need that from him every single game. Because Jimmy's going to get his. But someone has to go with him. Milwaukee tonight, they couldn't buy a three. They really couldn't buy a three. Chris Middleton, who, me personally, when I look at the Milwaukee Bucks, the guy that scares me the most is Chris Middleton because he always balls out against our team. I don't know why he plays like this, but he always balls out against our team. With Giannis being out, Chris Middleton stepped up. He had 33 points tonight. He was balling out. Bobby Portis coming off the bench, he was just fantastic, man. 20-plus points for him. He was just doing his thing. I mean, Bobby and Middleton were carrying this team. And then Drew Holiday started to get it going, especially in the past game. I think he had 14 or 15 assists. He was killing it too. They were getting quality looks and quality shots. But down the stretch, especially in the fourth quarter, late in the third and for the most of the fourth quarter, they just couldn't buy a three. And because they couldn't buy a three, it started to hurt them. Later on, a little bit down the stretch, they started to hit their threes. But the problem became the inability to stop Miami from scoring. They would hit a shot, and then Miami would go and retaliate and hit a shot. They'd hit a mid-range, Miami would counter with a three. They would hit a three, Miami would get a mid-range jump shot from Bam. It's just like they couldn't stop Miami from scoring down the stretch. It was one crazy play where Jimmy's got the ball. He's trying to drive. He loses his footing. The ball almost goes out of bounds. He rolls it to Gabe Vincent in the corner, who pops the three and hits it. Like, what do you do with that? That's how you know it's not your night. If you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan and you saw that, you knew it was not the Bucks' night. That's just how it is. So, yeah, I mean, Milwaukee, they came to play, but Miami just wanted it more. And once Giannis went down, the energy in the stadium was just gone. Like, the fans tried to get engaged when Chris Middleton was going off and Bobby Portis was going off and getting energized. But, down the stretch, Miami just couldn't miss. And Milwaukee just had no answers for that. So it became an issue there, and it's just what are you going to do? So Miami takes game one. Now, for the rest of the series, this is where a serious concern comes in. We do not know how severe this back injury is for Giannis. If Giannis cannot play in this series, if he misses significant time, I think Miami can steal this series and move on to the second round. If he can return for game two and there's no issues, I think Milwaukee will take this in about 6 games. So it all comes down to the health of Giannis because you need to have Giannis on the court to be able to match up to what Jimmy Butler's doing. Giannis cancels out whatever Jimmy's doing. So if Jimmy has 35 or 40 points, you know Giannis is going to counter with 35 and 40 points. That's what you need. Coming into the series, you knew the 3 matchups that needed to show up. For the Bucks, it was going to be Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday. They were going to be the counters to Jimmy, Bam, and Hero. Because those are all your scorers. All these guys can give you 20-plus points in a game. So those were the 3 guys that were going to go at it. And then there was going to be Miami's bench versus Milwaukee's bench. Unfortunately, Tyler Hero's gone. So that can affect Miami. But Giannis could also be gone, which will severely affect Milwaukee. I do not think Milwaukee can win this series without Giannis here for significant time, especially if Miami's going to play like this. You need Giannis there to counter what Jimmy's doing. You just need him there. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, Miami takes game one. I was shocked as to how it went, but I did say Miami had a chance to take them because, the whole one side is battle tested and has been playing to try and fight. Meanwhile, the other team had time to rest, so, they would come in a little rusty. I talked about that in my last video. We'll just see what happens, in game two, but in game one, it kind of felt like there was some rust early on, but they still were able to overcome it. It's just losing Giannis took all the energy out of that stadium. And the fact that Miami shot 60% from 3 pretty much meant that there was no way in hell Milwaukee was going to walk away with this victory. But it's only one game. I expect Milwaukee to respond. There's no signs of concerns Milwaukee should have other than Giannis's current health situation. If that injury is serious, Milwaukee's in trouble. If it's not serious and he'll be back, Milwaukee will be just fine. But Miami taking game one here gives them an opportunity to potentially steal this series. You stole a game on the road. Now you just have to defend home court, and you'll find a way to move on to the second round. And let me tell you this right now. If somehow Miami gets to the second round, I believe they'll play the Philadelphia 76ers. They'll play the winner of the Sixers and the Nets series, which, again, most likely will be Philly. I'm going to tell you right now, if it's Philly and Miami in the second round, I don't care what you have to say. I'm taking Miami in that series. Philly does not want to play Miami. They do not match up well against that squad. They don't. Philly does not match up well against what Miami does. So they don't want to face up against us. They do not want to face us at all. If it ends up being that in the second round, I'm going to talk my noise. But I'm not even trying to look ahead for that. I'm worried about game 2. And most importantly, the status of Giannis is what everyone needs to focus on right now. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you for watching. Thanks so much. And Heat Nation, let's see what we can do in game 2. If we can steal game 2 and go 2-0 back to Miami, we're taking this series. I don't care what no one's got to say. We're taking this series. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here. Peace.